The human lifespan is short, incredibly short. I used to always fear that, and what scared me even more was the idea that for me, it'd be even shorter. I feared death and time like the plague. It would keep me up at night. It'd keep me from leaving home. It caused me so many issues. This made me feel closed off to the world. The anxiety killed me. I was scared to get close to people, which made connecting to people even harder than it already was with my autism. From the moment I was born, I had this person in my life who was like a second mother to me, my great aunt Jojo. She loved me so much, she treated me like a king, her little princess. We would read books together, watch Star Wars, watch cartoons, try and play video games. Though she wasn't very good at it, she would buy me Legos and build them with me. She taught me to read and write, and she even taught me how to make my first ever video.
What the hell is all this shit? Would like to be filled.
When she died, I was sad. I was upset. I sat there in disbelief. She was supposed to make it out alive, but she didn't. And then I cried. I cried like a motherfucker. I cried for hours. I didn't cry just because she was gone. I cried for many reasons. The last thing I said to her was that I loved her and then proceed to make an unfunny joke about if she passes that I hope it isn't on her vomit, because that'd be gross to choke on your vomit. If she made it out, it would have just been a really dumb, poor taste joke. But she didn't make it out, and now it haunts me. But what haunts me more is that I didn't even know much about her. I knew her for 14 years of my life, and up to that point, it was my entire life. She was there my entire life. She was everything I knew, but I wasn't mature enough to learn more. All I learned was that she was sweet and kind. I learned her birthday, some little details about her life as a teacher, some ideas about her parents, and I learned that the only man she ever loved ended up accidentally killing himself by mistakenly shooting a tree while hunting. I miss her, but after a year or two of grieving, this was a wake-up call, a call to action. It was time to quit being closed off. It was time to open up to the world and learn more about it. Learn more about what makes the human life so special. What makes our relationships with people so special. Frieren, Beyond Journey's End, is about exactly this. It's about an elf named Frieren, who is probably the most autistic-coded character in fiction ever, who was once a part of a party of heroes who would take on and defeat the evil Demon King. But after this, they would go their separate ways, only reuniting once more, then, once again, after their friend Himo the Hero dies.
人間の寿命は短いって分かっていたのに、なんでもっと知ろうと思わなかったんだろう。
She cries. Frieren, being an elf, lives longer than humans, making her more closed off to them. She struggles to pick up on context clues and how people feel. When Himmel dies, she cries. She realizes that Himmel was a loved one that she wishes she had gotten to know better. That happens all within the first episode of the series, and would alter Frieren's approach from here on out, even if not directly stated. I love anime, it's one of my favorite mediums of storytelling, but I won't lie, sometimes anime lacks subtlety, especially shonen anime. And I know Frieren isn't a shonen anime, but it's still nice to see. This single scene sets up one of the main themes of the series, loss. Frieren isn't a dark fantasy series, but despite that, death, the loss of loved ones, loss of dreams, and just the loss of relationships appear so much throughout the series' first season. This theme shows its face again when Frieren is introduced to Fern, learning that she is a child orphaned by war that has now been adopted by the soon-to-pass Heiter. Then later on in the series, when meeting Aizen's student, Stark, who had run away from his village when it was attacked, losing his family. There are smaller instances like the king who had lost his son, Dinkin who has lost his wife, and much, much more. Death and destruction surrounds Frieren, both literally and metaphorically. Yet this doesn't make it dark. Yes, it is a story that has a lot of sad moments, but truth be told, it is a story that is more about love and the beauty of life. This is expressed in 3 different ways: character interaction, story, and visual design. Frieren is a beautiful series. It is absolutely gorgeous. The surroundings of the world and the pretty skies, the lovely blooms of magic, the cold and dark red of blood, and the piercing yet soft colors of eyes and hair. The series is built off of beauty. The art is fantastic. Even characters who are canonically evil and have no hope of being redeemed have this beauty to them. Everyone and everything has outward beauty, but then there's the beauty inside of the characters' interactions and their relationship. Throughout the first season, there are episodes and segments where things just slow down. Things become simple. You can rest while the characters do it as well. In these moments, you really get to see how these characters work together when not on quests. You just get to see what it's like for them on a lazy day. It's nice. Something this series has is birthday episodes, which in my watching experience at least, I haven't seen much of. Stark and Fern's birthdays have some of the most cute and wholesome moments in anime ever, and I love it. Them picking out gifts, them loving each other, it's just nice. Another example of Frieren learning to love people and understand them is when she finally understands head pats with Richter. It's an incredibly cute and silly and wholesome moment, but it means a lot to her character growth. Why are these 3 heroes even traveling the land exactly? Well, after episode 4 and reuniting with Eisen, Frieren is told that there is a way to get into heaven, meaning she can visit Himmel and get to know him better, the thing that brought her tears so long ago. However, in my opinion, that may not even be necessary. Of course it's what the characters want to do, and it is the end goal that pushes the story forward, but throughout her travels so far, Frieren has begun to pick up on things that Himmel did or said, many of his traits that made him so lovable. She learns about Himmel not just from the people around her, but from herself as well. She learns that while it might not have been enough for herself, she did care and love Himmel. They grew to know each other, more than Frieren ever realized. It's beautiful. Such a beautifully written relationship that I find so cute. This whole idea of love and the beauty of the little things in life is, of course, exemplified in the last episode of Frieren Season 1. When adapting a manga into an anime, deciding when to end the season is incredibly difficult. The manga format has the advantage of it being released either monthly or weekly, and it being a continuing story. Anime, on the other hand, airs on live television, where breaks are much longer and seasons are usually split up by arcs. Usually, a season of an anime has a theme that ties into the overall one, so when deciding when to end a season is really difficult. You don't want the ending to be awkward or in the middle of another arc, but you also don't want it to end without its theme being shown off. Imagine if the original airing of Dragon Ball ended right when Goku died, then the next season continued onward. It would not only have been awkward, but it would have also not been a good example of Dragon Ball's theme, that the strength of hope and justice will always overcome evil. Or another good example would be JJK. If the first season of the show was Jujutsu Kaisen 0, and then ended when Yuji was introduced, that would be pretty lame and confusing. So, how does the first season of Frieren end? And is it a good conclusion to the episodes prior? Well, the season ends with Frieren and Fern working on getting the status of first-class mage. Frieren fails, not only because the one who runs the event, Siri, just doesn't like her, but because specifically she sees her as a waste of talent, someone who doesn't value magic how it should be valued. But Fern passes. She passes because she has an immense amount of potential. Siri notices her skill and talent. Fern is given a request to become a student of Siri so she can achieve new heights and become a legend. Fern refuses, saying she has a master already. Fern was given a warning in advance that she'd be asked to become a student. But in the scene, Frieren doesn't tell Fern to stay with her and decline the offer. She just says don't feel pressured to say yes. Frieren trusts Fern to not abandon her and Stark. She trusts her to be by their side. They've become a bit of a family of sorts, a family that looks out for one another. And then Fern leaves after picking out her spell. Siri gives a spell of which someone wants who passes the exam. Fern chooses a spell, which, drumroll please, the spell she chooses is a spell that cleans clothes practically instantly. Such a simple and silly spell, yet perfect for Fern. It fits well in her nature. This is a good ending to the first season. It's very similar to the flower blooming spell that Frieren loves so much, that her master loves so much, and that Himmel loves so much. This is a good ending to the first season. The season ends by staying firm in its belief that the little things in life and the little things that make up people make life worth living. Frieren Beyond Journey's End is an amazing and beautiful series. In only one season, it has stolen the hearts of millions, including myself. Very few animes can show off what they stand for in a single season, yet this series goes beyond its journey. It excels in everything that it sets out to do, and more. If you haven't seen this series yet, you really need to. I highly suggest seeing it. It is peak, a solid 10 out of 10. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you all have a wonderful night.